Hi everyone and welcome for this brand new open the box and tests for this SpeedPaint from Army Painter. This is some equivalent to the contrast range, so easy to apply and easy to have a very quick tabletop miniatures ready to play. Not necessary for me because I prefer to continue the work on the miniatures, but it's a good way to push all your base easily and very quickly. So for this test, I'm going to show you all the different 23 color, because there are one bottle where SpeedPaint medium to dilute your color. Don't dilute this with water, that don't work. So I'm going to show you without any voice the different color I apply on the different miniatures, and after that I show you the results on a turnable, so you can see directly by yourself the results, and at the end I give you my personal feedback about all of this paint. Once again, don't hesitate to like, subscribe to the channel, click on the ring and comment if you have any question, or just comment to tell me if you like this video. You can always come and support me on Patreon, so you will have access to a group. You can show with me your work and I give you my feedback. And by the way, you can have access to more and more tutorials. Thanks again and let's go for the test. As you can see, we are always in the same category of paint than Army Painter always do, so the packaging is pretty cheap, to be honest, but what we want to know it's about the paint and not necessarily the package. We are going to trash that. We have always a little booklet with a simple step of how to paint, and in that way that's always welcome for people who don't know the basic things about painting. And now we can see the all different paints, so 23 and one bottle of medium to dilute your color. It's important to understand that this color is going to be diluted with medium, and as you can see the brush is pretty simple but not necessarily very qualitative, so we are going to use it to make some dry brush or something else, but nothing very complicated. So I'm not going to talk a lot during the video, but you are going to see the different paint I'm going to use, and after I push all my base on every miniature, I'm going to show you a turnover of all the miniatures directly. At this moment, as you can see, I change my palettes. I remove my paper palettes to go to a ceramic palette. You can use a plastic palette or anything else. It's just because the paint is going to be dry more quickly on paper palettes, and I really need to have the pure paint to try it and to be sure that's going to be the more normal effect. I try on the 10-inch model a different color. The runic gray is not good for me in my opinion, but the magic blue is pretty cool, pretty covering, but when you dilute with medium that works pretty well. The green black is very good in my opinion, and the same for the dark wood will work pretty well. So the blue red is very good, a very nice effect. I need to test again the Gravelord gray because it seems to be very light, but we are going to try again. The Zealot yellow worked pretty well, and I think it's going to do a very nice non-metallic metal effect. And the Highlord blue seems to be pretty good too. The orc skin is pretty good, but a little bit too too lightful in my opinion. The Holy White worked pretty well to do some white, so that's pretty cool. And the Gravelort worked pretty well on this model. For the leather, hardened leather, I mean, I think it will be more than ogryn fur, but finally it's a more light leather, but that's worked pretty well. For this chaotic ogre, I think the result is perfect for me, because with a black primer and a zenithal with my airbrush in white, I have directly all my different shadow, and the different paint is not necessarily too much covering, so we always see the different shadow I already apply. All of this color is pretty interesting, and particularly the skin and the camo green. So for the sister, I need you to know that I just use it to put the last color I have to test. But by the way, that show me that on very surface, very large surface without details, that works pretty well, and that don't do some kind of mistake like contrast paint. So that's a very good things. In conclusion, so I have to say that I'm pretty impressed by this paint. This SpeedPaint is pretty good. The only one I probably don't use so much is Rune Gray, because I prefer the contrast equivalent. And but the other one have a lot of very good points. The first one is about the price. They are something like €4, around €4 for one bottle of this one, and €6 for a bottle from Contrast by Games Workshop, and for the same quantity. So that's a success for me for that. The paint is pretty good, and for me it's a little bit less covering, so it's more easy to play with your highlights, and with the fact you can prime in black and pushing some white in airbrush. So the different step of gray between the black and white will always be visible after you put this color. So that's pretty good. For example, the blood red is work pretty well in that way. And the last big point for me is the reaction of paint when you apply on the large surfaces without details is really more good than the contrast paint. So for me, the three different elements make this one very interesting. The only things I don't like, it's about for making the laser paint. The hardened laser is pretty good, but not enough strong and dark in my way. So I will probably make something between the hardened laser and the dark wood to have some very dark laser. So I really hope you enjoy this open and tests, so you can see more easily the paint you prefer during this. By the way, you can always ask me if you have any question into the comments section, and you can always just giving me your feedback about this kind of tutorial. That's always welcome, and that's very helpful for my referencement on YouTube. Every time I do live painting on Tuesday, so don't hesitate to subscribe and click on the ring to be sure to see that. And by the way, you can always support me on Patreon to see more content, some painting class, for example, on the dilution with your brush, and the airbrush tutorial will come this year. Thanks again for watching, and see you soon for the next tutorial. Bye bye!